They think the man who talks loudest wins. They think the one who moves first, flares hardest, and makes the most noise commands the field. They are wrong. In the true game of power, the loudest is rarely the strongest. He's often the most desperate. Watch closely in any meeting, argument, or negotiation. The calmest man commands the unseen high ground. This is Machiavelli's cold law of mental power. The still mind dominates the storm. Calm is not weakness, it is silent authority. Most men lose it in seconds. A flash of anger, a twitch of impatience, a careless word, and they've traded their advantage for a moment's release. They let others dictate their pace, pull their strings, set their rhythm. But you will not. You will hold your own clock in your hand. You will let silence work for you and let stillness bend the room to your favor. Every pause will sharpen the weight of your next word. Every measured breath will signal that you answer to no one's urgency but your own. When others expect fire, you will give stone. When they demand a reaction, you will offer stillness so unshaken it unsettles them. This is not passivity, this is dominance in its purest form. The man who remains calm is the man no one can move. Comment below, "My silence is my weapon." This is where your transformation begins. Number 1. Breaking emotional reflexes. Most people live as hostages to their own impulses. They believe emotions are something to express, when in truth, emotions are signals to be understood, not commands to obey. The moment tension rises, they hand over control, snapping back, speaking without thought, making moves they'll regret. That's not strategy, that's surrender. When the pace quickens, you will slow it down. When the volume rises, yours will drop to a level so controlled it forces others to adjust to you. If they try to rush you, you will stand as if time itself has to wait. This is how you fracture the chain of emotional reflexes, the automatic responses that keep men predictable. Instead of reacting, you will observe. You will read every gesture, every pause, every shift in tone. You will see the intent behind the words before the words are even finished. This stillness doesn't just protect you, it gives you an edge. It allows you to answer from a place of clarity instead of chaos. And the man who answers from clarity always dictates the outcome. Your mind is no longer an open field for others to trample. It is a fortress, guarded by patience and sharpened by awareness. Comment below, "I own my tempo." Number 2. The mask of composure. Composure is not just an internal state. It is an image you choose to project. A mask. The man who appears composed, even when pressure mounts, carries an authority that others instinctively respect. In moments of uncertainty, people search for the face that looks most certain, and they will look to you. This mask is not deception in the malicious sense. It is discipline made visible. Your still expression, your measured tone, your controlled posture. They send a message before you speak a word. I am unshaken. Even if the ground shifts beneath you, the mask stays in place, not to hide fear, but to refuse to feed it. The truth is, the mask is not a lie. It is a training ground. The more you wear it, the more your mind begins to match it. Your body tells your mind, "We are steady," and the mind obeys. Over time, the mask and the reality become the same. That's when you become untouchable, because there's nothing left for anyone to see crack. Carry this mask into every interaction. Let it be the first thing they notice and the last thing they forget. Comment below, "My calm commands the room." Number 3. Turning stillness into influence. Stillness is more than self-control. It's a calculated weapon. In a world that moves too quickly, a world addicted to immediate reactions and constant movement, the man who refuses to rush becomes a gravitational force. Others orbit him. They can't explain why, but they feel it, a subtle pull, toward his center. His presence is not loud, yet it dominates. This isn't by accident. It's a deliberate choice, repeated until it becomes instinct. When you remain still under pressure, you signal something primal. I am not threatened. The human mind reads calm as power. It assumes that if you can resist the push of urgency, you must know something others don't. In the old courts of politics and in modern boardrooms alike, this trait draws attention without you asking for it. People begin to watch you differently. They listen when you speak, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it through restraint. There's a simple truth most overlook. Constant movement bleeds significance. The more you speak, the easier your words are ignored. The more you move, the easier your actions are forgotten. But when you are selective, when you choose your moments like a sniper chooses his target, every move carries weight. You could speak one sentence in a meeting and have it echo in their minds for days, simply because it was delivered from a foundation of measured stillness. Stillness creates a vacuum. This is the law of presence. When you do not rush to fill the space, others will. And when they rush, they reveal themselves. They expose their intentions, their strategy, their pressure points. In negotiations, this is invaluable. Your opponent, uncomfortable with your silence, will keep talking, and in doing so, they will hand you exactly the information you need to control the outcome. You won't have to interrupt them. You won't have to force anything. You simply remain unmoved and let them reveal their own hand. There's also the psychological ripple effect. Stillness unnerves people who are addicted to constant validation. When they can't read you, when they can't pull a reaction from you, they start adjusting themselves to your energy. They slow down to your pace without realizing it. And when they start moving at your pace, you are already in control. Influence, in its most refined form, is not about force. It's about alignment, bending others into your rhythm without a single overt command. This kind of influence is not noisy. It doesn't need public displays of dominance or constant reminders of authority. It works in whispers and pauses. It's the way a single glance can halt a conversation, the way a single nod can seal a decision. Stillness gives you the rare power to make moments linger, to make your presence remembered not for what you did in frenzy, but for what you didn't need to do at all. But here's the key. This stillness is not passivity. It's not the stillness of doing nothing. It's the stillness of a drawn bowstring, silent but loaded with potential. You are not disengaged. You are engaged with precision. You are constantly reading, weighing, assessing. The mask of calm does not mean your mind is idle. It means your mind is free from noise, operating at full clarity. This is why those who master stillness rarely need to fight for position. The room adjusts to them. Decisions tilt in their favor because they are perceived as steady, capable, and grounded. And people naturally trust stability over chaos. When two men speak, the one who speaks less but with greater control is the one remembered. In a crisis, the one who remains calm is the one followed. The world is drawn to the figure who is unaffected because in their composure lies the promise of direction. To turn stillness into influence, you must train 3 disciplines. First, discipline of posture. Your body speaks before your mouth does. Shoulders square, spine straight, movements deliberate, every gesture measured, never rushed. The man who moves with purpose communicates control without words. Second, discipline of tone. Your voice is the carrier of your authority. A calm, steady tone under pressure makes people lean in rather than push back. Keep it low, keep it clear, keep it deliberate. Make them wait for your words, and when you give them with finality. Third, discipline of timing. Resist the urge to fill silence. Let it work for you. In the pause between their question and your answer, you gather more than facts. You gather control. That pause says you are not being pulled into their urgency. You are moving on your own terms. When you master these, something changes in the dynamic of every interaction. People stop expecting you to compete for attention. Instead, they begin to measure themselves against you. They unconsciously wonder if they are keeping up with your pace. And when they adjust to you, you've already won the hidden game of influence. Remember, influence built on noise is fragile. Influence built on stillness is permanent. Noise demands constant repetition. Stillness echoes without you needing to repeat it. The former burns you out. The latter renews your position each time you show up. If you can combine stillness with precision, you won't need to assert control. It will be assumed. Others will seek your approval not because you demanded it, but because your approval now carries value. They will read deeper into your silences than they do into other people's speeches. And when you choose to speak, they will already be listening. This is not about creating a false image. It's about becoming so centered that the image and reality are one. When your internal calm matches your external composure, you cannot be shaken by noise, provoked by impatience, or manipulated into someone else's tempo. You are no longer a participant in the chaos. You are the still point that chaos breaks itself against. That is the art of turning stillness into influence. It is the slow burn that outlasts every flare of temporary power, and once mastered, it becomes the silent engine of your authority in every arena you enter. Comment below. My calm shapes the outcome. Number 4. The discipline of emotional detachment. Emotional detachment is not coldness for its own sake. It is clarity preserved at all costs. It's the ability to stand inside a moment without being consumed by it. Most people cannot separate themselves from their feelings. They let excitement rush them into mistakes or let frustration cloud their judgment. They react before they think, and they decide before they see the full board. Detachment changes that. It puts a space between stimulus and response, a space where strategy lives. When something challenges you, you don't meet it head-on with raw emotion. You meet it with analysis. You take a step back, mentally, even if only for a breath, and you ask, what is actually happening here? What's my advantage? What's my next best move? That gap between feeling and action is where control is born. This does not mean ignoring emotions. Emotions are signals. They reveal opportunities, threats, and truths about yourself. But you treat them as advisors, not dictators. You hear their message, then you decide the course. Detachment is the skill of letting emotions inform you without letting them steer you. In practice, this looks like not rising to provocation. If someone pushes your buttons, you don't push back. You watch. You let their energy play out, because every extra word and gesture from them gives you more data. It looks like making decisions based on patterns and probabilities rather than pressure and impulse. It looks like refusing to let praise make you complacent or criticism make you unstable. The man who is emotionally detached can negotiate harder, lead longer, and endure more, because his mind is not dragged up and down by the moods of the moment. People sense this stability. They trust it. They adjust to it. They begin to lean on it in times of uncertainty. That's when your influence expands. Not because you're trying to dominate, but because your steadiness naturally attracts reliance. Detach, and you'll see the game more clearly. Detach, and you'll notice the move no one else saw because they were too busy feeling. Detach, and your calm becomes a lens that cuts through the fog others live in every day. Remember, you are not your feelings. You are the one who decides what those feelings mean. The world will try to pull you into constant reaction. Refuse it. Let your mind be a place where decisions are made from strength, not from heat. That is the discipline of emotional detachment, and once you master it, your composure stops being an act and becomes your nature. Comment below. I decide what moves me. Number 5. The strategic pause. The strategic pause is the weapon most people never think to use. Yet it's one of the most subtle, most effective ways to shift the balance of power in your favor. Most people think strength is about constant action, about answering immediately, about striking fast. They believe speed equals control. They are wrong. Sometimes, the most powerful move you can make is to wait. The pause is not hesitation. Hesitation is born from uncertainty. The pause is deliberate. The pause is a choice. The pause says, I decide when the game moves forward, not you. And in that space between their action and your next move, everything changes. When you pause in conversation, you do more than break the rhythm. You take ownership of it. Most interactions follow an unspoken pace, a back-and-forth volley where each side feels compelled to respond without thinking. By breaking that chain, you insert a moment of stillness where there was none. In that stillness, you see the entire exchange more clearly. And here's the truth. People reveal more in silence than they ever do in speech. When you do not fill the gap, they will. They will explain more than they need to, clarify points that didn't need clarification, and sometimes even contradict themselves. The human mind finds emptiness uncomfortable, so it rushes to fill it, and that rush exposes what they didn't intend to share. The pause has another effect. It magnifies your presence. When you speak instantly, even if your answer is sharp, it feels reactive. But when you allow a calculated moment before you respond, your words gain weight. They no longer sound like reflex, they sound like judgment. They carry the aura of having been considered. People listen differently when they believe your words have been measured. In negotiations, the pause can be lethal without ever crossing a line. Imagine they give you an offer, expecting a quick counter. Instead, you say nothing. You look at them, calm and steady. The seconds stretch. They start to wonder if they've pushed too far. And before you've said a single word, they might backtrack, soften their stance, or sweeten their terms, all to break the silence they can't bear. That's influence without force. The pause also applies to action, not just speech. In a world that glorifies being first, you will learn to be deliberate. When everyone else is scrambling to act, desperate to move, you stand still. You watch. You let the first wave of movement burn out. You see which strategies fail, which mistakes are made, and which opportunities remain untouched. Then, and only then, you move. And your move lands with precision because it is informed, not rushed. But understand, the pause is not a trick to be used mindlessly. It must fit the moment. Too short, and it loses its impact. Too long, and it risks looking like indecision. In high-pressure situations, even 2 or 3 seconds of silence can feel like an eternity to the other person. In slower, drawn-out scenarios, you may take a minute or more before you respond or act. The key is to control that space naturally, without signaling nervousness or uncertainty. Your body language during the pause is as important as the pause itself. Keep your posture steady, shoulders back, face relaxed, eyes steady and present. You are not withdrawing, you are holding the space. The difference is everything. If your pause feels like retreat, it weakens you. If your pause feels like control, it strengthens you. Over time, people will begin to notice. They will feel the weight of your pauses. They will try to interpret them. They will wonder, what is he thinking? What is he waiting for? And here is the Machiavellian beauty. Even when there's no hidden meaning, they will still imagine one. That imagined meaning will often work in your favor. The strategic pause also trains you. It forces you to resist the pull of urgency. It teaches you to create space in your own mind before making a decision. It conditions you to observe more than you speak, to act less but with greater precision. And with every well-placed pause, you reinforce your position as someone who moves only when he chooses to, not when others demand it. Think about history's most respected leaders, negotiators and tacticians. They were rarely the fastest talkers in the room. They were the ones who could wait while others panicked. The ones who could hold silence until it became a tool, not an accident. They understood that control of pace often equals control of outcome. In your own life, begin small. In conversation, when someone asks you a question, resist the impulse to answer instantly. Take a breath. Let them see you thinking. In decisions, stop rushing to act simply because others are acting. Let the dust settle before you choose your move. In conflict, when emotions run high, slow everything down. The one who controls the tempo controls the direction. And remember, the pause is not absence. It is presence, concentrated. It is a statement in itself. I will not be rushed. I will not be pulled. I move on my own time. Comment below. I move on my own time. Number 6. Composure under observation. True composure isn't proven in solitude. Anyone can appear calm when no one is watching. The real test comes when the weight of attention is on you, when the room falls silent and every pair of eyes measures your every move, your every breath, your every word. This is the crucible in which true presence is forged. Observation is its own kind of pressure. It doesn't just test your words, it tests the way you carry yourself in moments that matter. It can be the pressure of an audience during a presentation, the quiet focus of a negotiation table, or the steady gaze of an opponent across a debate. The common thread is that you know you are being evaluated, even if no one says it outright. This pressure reveals a lot about people. Some shrink under it. Their speech quickens, their breathing shifts, their posture caves slightly without them realizing. Others overcompensate, speaking too loudly, gesturing too wildly, trying too hard to look confident. Both are forms of being moved by the moment rather than moving the moment yourself. The man who masters composure under observation does something different. He treats attention not as a spotlight that burns, but as a lens that magnifies. He understands that the same attention that can expose weakness can also amplify strength. If you are steady, if you are deliberate, that steadiness becomes larger than life in the minds of those watching. They remember it. They carry it with them. And here's the Machiavellian truth. Perception shapes reality. In leadership, in influence, in negotiation, people often respond not to what is objectively true, but to what they perceive to be true. If you appear unshaken under scrutiny, they begin to assume you are unshaken. That assumption changes how they speak to you, how they negotiate with you, and even how they defer to you. To project composure under observation, you must control both the external and the internal. Externally, it begins with posture. Your body speaks before your mouth does. Stand with shoulders open, chest lifted slightly, and feet grounded. Movements should be economical, not stiff, but intentional. Avoid fidgeting, tapping, or shifting unnecessarily. Every extra movement dilutes the impression of control. Instead, let each gesture have purpose, each turn of the head be deliberate, each shift in stance be a choice. Then there's the face. Your expression should be relaxed yet engaged, not blank. That reads as detached or uninterested, but steady. A slight narrowing of the eyes to signal focus, a calm mouth without tension. This is not about looking serious all the time, but about maintaining a baseline of control from which any change in expression is deliberate. Your voice is just as critical. Under observation, people unconsciously track your tone and pace for signs of instability. Keep your tone measured, never rushed. Use pauses intentionally, as if you own the timing of the exchange. Speak at a volume that is comfortably audible but never strained. This balance communicates certainty without aggression. Internally, the real work is keeping your mind from spiraling into self-consciousness. The reason most people crack under observation isn't because they don't know what to say or do. It's because they start thinking about how they look, saying or doing it. That split in focus makes their delivery weaker, their presence thinner. You must reverse this. When you're under observation, focus entirely on the task, the conversation, or the negotiation at hand. Give your attention to the substance, not the performance. Ironically, this deep focus on reality rather than on image creates the strongest image of all. Because nothing feels more composed than someone fully engaged in the moment, unaffected by the fact that others are watching. There's also a subtle advantage to controlled composure. It disrupts expectations. Many people expect signs of stress when the pressure is on. When they don't see those signs in you, it creates uncertainty in them. They begin to question whether you know something they don't. This shift plants doubt in their own confidence and strengthens yours by comparison. Observation magnifies small things. A slight crack in tone can sound larger. A brief nervous movement can look exaggerated. But the opposite is also true. A moment of calm focus can look like iron discipline, and a measured breath can feel like unshakable control. This is why training composure under observation pays dividends far beyond the moment itself. Practice in low-stakes situations. In group conversations, slow yourself down slightly. Hold eye contact with ease, not as a challenge, but as a signal of presence. Let your gestures be intentional, not constant. If someone asks you a question, take a moment before answering. Not so long it feels unnatural, but long enough to signal you're considering your response. Over time, this will shift how others respond to you. They'll stop expecting quick, reactive answers from you and start expecting thoughtful ones. They'll notice you don't flinch under attention, and they'll interpret that as confidence, even if you're still building it internally. This perception becomes self-reinforcing. The more they see you as composed, the more composed you feel, and the cycle builds. Composure under observation is not about being emotionless. It's about not letting your emotions be dictated by the awareness of being seen. You can be passionate, intense, even humorous, but it's always on your terms, never as an involuntary reaction to the crowd or the gaze of a single individual. The key shift is this. Stop seeing observation as judgment. See it as an opportunity. Every time you're being watched is a chance to reinforce your steadiness, to show that you move through pressure the same way you move through calm, with control. This shift in mindset removes the fear of the spotlight and replaces it with purpose. In the end, composure under observation is not just about surviving the moment. It's about owning it so fully that you set the tone for the room. Your steadiness becomes the quiet anchor everyone else orients themselves around. And once they begin to look to you for that anchor, you've gained influence without ever asking for it. Remember, the eyes on you are not a threat. They are an amplifier. Make sure what they amplify is the image of a man who cannot be rushed, cannot be shaken, and cannot be pulled off his center. Comment below, "My calm is unshakable." Number 7, the art of controlled expression. Power is not in showing nothing. Power is in showing only what you choose. Controlled expression is not about freezing your face or masking your emotions entirely. It's about deciding, moment by moment, exactly what your face, your voice, and your body communicate. Most people are driven by their emotions. They let their faces tell their secrets before their words even arrive. You won't. You'll choose what you display the same way a general chooses his tactics, with precision, purpose, and a clear outcome in mind. Here's the truth. Humans are constantly scanning each other's expressions. It's ancient survival wiring. In fractions of a second, we notice a twitch of the eye, a tightening of the jaw, a shift in tone. Most of this scanning happens unconsciously, but it shapes how people feel about you instantly. That means you are always broadcasting something, whether you mean to or not. Controlled expression ensures that what you broadcast is intentional. Let's start with the face. Think of it as the frame through which all your words and actions will be judged. Keep it relaxed but alert. A frozen, stone-like face communicates defensiveness or detachment. A face that changes too much signals instability. You want a steady baseline, a calm, engaged look that feels grounded. This baseline is your anchor. From it, any shift becomes noticeable and therefore powerful. If you decide to smile, it's because it serves the moment. If your expression tightens, it's because you want it to land like a signal. In controlled expression, every change is deliberate. The eyes are your strongest non-verbal weapon. They are the first thing people check when they want to know if you mean what you say. Maintain steady, unforced eye contact when you want to signal presence. Don't stare in aggression, but let your gaze rest naturally. Break eye contact deliberately when you want to control the pace or reset the tone. Let your eyes hold slightly longer on moments you want to mark as significant. This tells the other person that you've tagged their words, their action, or their position for special attention. Avoid darting your eyes around in high-stakes situations. It communicates unease or a lack of certainty. Next, the voice. Controlled expression isn't only visual. It lives in the sound of your words. Keep your tone calm, clear, and unhurried. Let emphasis come from precision, not volume. Raise your tone slightly when you want to inject energy or urgency, and lower it when you want to command attention. Speak at a pace that is comfortable to you, not one that's dictated by the other person's rhythm. And remember this, silence between phrases can be as powerful as the phrases themselves. A pause after a key statement doesn't just give others time to process, it forces them to. The body completes the picture. Movements should be economical. Avoid restless gestures, tapping, shifting, or overusing your hands. Let your gestures punctuate your words instead of carrying them. This does two things. It prevents you from signaling nervousness, and it makes every movement you do make more significant. If you lean in, it means something. If you step back, it means something. The fewer unnecessary movements you make, the more deliberate the necessary ones become. Controlled expression is not about becoming robotic. It's about having range, but using that range with control. You can laugh, you can show concern, you can display intensity, but you do it because it serves your intention, not because the moment forced it out of you. This creates a powerful form of unpredictability. Others can't read you unless you allow it, and when they can't read you, they proceed with caution. They second-guess their own approach. They try to anticipate you, and in trying, they slow down, giving you control of the pace. The deeper advantage is psychological. When people can't predict your reactions, they become more careful with their words. They reveal less impulsively. They check themselves before overstepping. They start unconsciously matching your level of control. In doing so, they've already shifted into your frame, and once they're in your frame, you own the dynamic. Training this skill starts with awareness. In low-stakes situations, pay close attention to your facial muscles, your breathing, and your posture. Notice what changes when you feel challenged or excited. Do your eyebrows lift? Does your voice speed up? Does your head tilt in a way that reveals uncertainty? Once you spot these patterns, you can begin replacing them with deliberate choices. From there, practice deliberate shifts. If you normally react to something surprising with wide eyes or a quick laugh, try responding instead with a steady gaze and a small, controlled smile. If you usually frown immediately at something you dislike, try holding a neutral expression until you've decided whether showing disapproval benefits you. Over time, you'll find yourself able to shift expression not in reaction to others, but in a way that directs them. Imagine a negotiation where you've been silent for a moment. They make an offer. Instead of rushing to respond, you let the silence hang, then slowly allow a faint smile to form. Not approval, not mockery, but ambiguity. That one move can make them question whether they've gone too far or whether they've just opened a door you can walk through. Or picture a tense exchange where your opponent is expecting you to flare up. Instead, you keep your face calm, your eyes steady, and your voice even. Their strategy loses its target, and they're forced to recalibrate. These are not accidents. They're micro-strategies that turn your own presence into a controlled instrument. The highest form of controlled expression is when your external signals match your internal strategy. You are calm because you've trained yourself to be calm. You project certainty because you've done the work to become certain. At this point, there's no gap between the man you are and the man they see. And that's when you become untouchable in perception and reality alike. Controlled expression is subtle. It will rarely draw direct praise or recognition. People may not even consciously notice what you're doing, but they will feel it. They will remember that you didn't flinch, that your smile arrived at the exact moment it mattered, that your tone never lost its balance, and they will carry those impressions into every future interaction with you. This is the quiet language of authority. You're not just speaking through your words, you're speaking through the control of every visible and audible signal you send. And the better you get at choosing those signals, the more the world will respond to you with the respect it instinctively gives to those who master themselves first. Comment below, I choose what they see. Number 8, the calm that commands respect. There is a kind of calm that's polite, and there is a kind of calm that dominates. The first earns a nod, the second earns silence from the room. You are not here to cultivate a pleasant calm. You are here to forge the kind that commands respect without ever asking for it. Respect built on noise fades when the noise stops. Respect built on fear collapses when fear is removed. But respect built on an unshakable center, the calm that does not bend under pressure, becomes a constant. People may not agree with you, they may not even like you, but they will recognize that you stand firm in a way most cannot. This calm is not passive, it does not retreat, it is active presence. It means that whether you're in the middle of chaos or in the focus of a quiet decision, your breathing, your tone, and your movements are under your control. You are not untouched because nothing happens to you. You are untouched because no matter what happens, you remain the same. The respect this earns is different from admiration. Admiration can be given easily, often based on talent, charm, or even luck. Respect for calm is harder to win. It comes only after people have watched you face moments that would break others and seen you remain composed. It is built in the times when others are expecting you to panic, lash out, or fold, and you don't. There is also a hidden effect. Your calm becomes contagious. In tense situations, people instinctively look for stability. If you can remain steady when others are unraveling, they will begin to mirror your composure. Even those who outrank you in status will unconsciously take their cues from you. That is how calm transforms from a personal strength into a silent form of leadership. This kind of calm doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. It works in the quiet details, in the way you respond slower than they expect, in the way your tone stays steady while theirs rises, in the way your body language stays grounded when theirs shifts. These details stack over time, and together they build the image of a person who does not break. But make no mistake, this level of calm requires discipline. You can't fake it for long. You can pretend to be collected for a few minutes, maybe even an hour, but sustained calm comes only from habit. It comes from daily training, controlling your pace when you want to rush, lowering your tone when you want to raise it, sitting still when you want to move. Over time, this becomes who you are, not just what you perform. You begin to notice the change in yourself first. Things that once irritated you no longer move you so easily. Situations that once made you hurry now feel like they slow down in your presence. That's the mark of progress. Not that nothing happens, but that what happens no longer dictates who you are in the moment. To project this calm in a way that commands respect, you must align your inner state with your outer presence. You can't speak of steadiness while your mind is racing, or pretend to be unaffected while your hands betray you. True respect comes when the outside and inside match. And when that match is real, people feel it immediately. They know they are not dealing with an act. In practical terms, this calm changes how you're treated. People pause before interrupting you. They wait for your thoughts instead of talking over you. They measure their words more carefully in your presence. They stop expecting quick reactions from you and start expecting considered ones. And that expectation alone places you in a position of influence. The calm that commands respect is also your defense against provocation. When someone tries to bait you into losing control, they're expecting a reaction. They want to pull you into their frame. By refusing to give it to them, you don't just win the exchange. You dismantle their strategy entirely. And nothing frustrates an opponent more than having no way to pull you off balance. The effect of this calm deepens over time. At first, it simply makes people curious. They notice you don't react the way others do. They might even test you to see if you'll break. When you don't, curiosity turns to recognition. Recognition turns to respect. And respect turns to reliance. Reliance is the highest form of influence calm can earn you. Once people begin to see you as a constant, the one they can look to when things are unclear, they unconsciously place you at the center of their own decision-making process. Even if you're not the loudest voice, your presence becomes part of the equation. This is when you become the anchor. And being the anchor changes the game. Anchors don't chase ships. Ships adjust to the anchor. In the same way, you stop chasing influence. It comes to you. People seek your opinion, not because you demand it, but because your steadiness has made it valuable. They want to know what you think because they know you won't be swayed by the heat of the moment. This calm is not about moving slowly. It's about moving deliberately. It's about letting others know, without telling them, that nothing is going to dictate your pace except you. And when they realize that, they begin to adjust to you. They slow down when you slow down. They speak with more care when you speak with more care. Without force, without orders, you shape the entire atmosphere. The calm that commands respect is rare because it requires two things most people avoid: patience and consistency. Patience to let the moment come to you instead of rushing toward it, and consistency to live this way in both small situations and large ones. If you only hold your calm when it's easy, you won't hold it when it's difficult. It's also rare because it requires you to be comfortable with silence. Calm leaders are not afraid to let the air settle. They know that stillness is not emptiness. It is a presence that fills the space without forcing it. The more you train yourself to be comfortable in these silences, the more others will look to you in them. In the end, the calm that commands respect is not about image. It's about nature. It's not a pose you strike. It's the man you've become. It's a form of power that is quiet but undeniable, subtle but immovable. You don't need to declare it. Those who have seen it will remember it. And here's the final truth. When respect comes from this kind of calm, it doesn't fade when you leave the room. It lingers. People talk about it. They measure others against it. And often, without realizing it, they start adjusting themselves to the standard you set. That is the calm you're building. One that doesn't just keep you steady, but reshapes the environment around you. Comment below. My calm is my authority. Number 9. The untouchable mind. The highest form of power is not wealth, not connections, not even physical strength. The highest form of power is an untouchable mind, a mind that cannot be broken by pressure, bought by flattery, or swayed by provocation. Every lesson up to this point has been building to this. Calm, control, detachment, stillness. All of it leads here. An untouchable mind is not empty. It is full, but full of the right things. It holds clarity where others hold confusion. It holds patience where others hold panic. It holds strategy where others hold reaction. It doesn't shut out the world, it filters it. It takes in what is useful, discards what is not, and remains unmoved by the noise in between. This mind is built on discipline, the discipline to master emotional reflexes so you respond, not react. The discipline to wear the mask of composure until it is no longer a mask, but your true face. The discipline to turn stillness into a weapon, to let silence work for you while others rush to fill it. The discipline to detach, to observe the game without being swallowed by it. It's also built on awareness. Awareness of your own triggers, so no one can use them against you. Awareness of the pace of a room, so you can set it rather than chase it. Awareness of your own expression, so every signal you send is intentional. Awareness of the weight your calm carries, so you can use it without wasting it. When your mind becomes untouchable, you stop fearing what others think of you, not because you've grown arrogant, but because you know your worth isn't built on their approval. You stop rushing to prove yourself, not because you're complacent, but because you know the proof is in your steadiness. You stop reacting to bait, not because you can't strike back, but because you know when to hold and when to act. This level of control creates a shift. People start to sense that they can't move you the way they move others. They stop trying to push your buttons because they know you decide when and if you'll respond. They approach you differently. They speak to you differently. They measure their words because they know you're measuring them. And here is the quiet truth. An untouchable mind is magnetic. Those who feel unstable want to be near it. Those who live in constant reaction seek to learn from it. Those who think they can break it waste themselves trying. But it's not about being invincible, it's about being unshakable. Invincible means nothing can hurt you. Unshakable means even when something does, you remain in control of yourself. You don't need the world to be calm for you to be calm. You don't need people to be respectful for you to carry yourself with respect. You don't need circumstances to be perfect for you to be precise. This is why the untouchable mind is the ultimate form of power, because it is independent of the world, yet able to shape it. And now, I'll leave you with this. Power begins in the mind, but it shows itself in the way you move through the world. If you take every principle we've built here, the cold law of calm, the mastery of emotional reflexes, the mask of composure, the influence of stillness, the discipline of detachment, the strategic pause, the steadiness under observation, the art of controlled expression, the calm that commands respect, and you practice them until they are part of you, then nothing external can take your center. The battlefield will change, people will come and go, challenges will shift shape, but your mind will remain yours. Comment below, I am untouchable. And if you want more of this, more strategies for mastering yourself and shaping the world around you, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Psygrythm, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's next.